So yes, we are live now. I think we can see. Yes, it is there. Can you see?
Yes.
Yes, we are live now. I think we can see. Yes.
I think you can share.
Okay, just share from that window. Yeah. We'll take another 2-3 minutes so that let people join us.
Sure.
Yeah.
You've done the share. Should I also share?
Yeah, so I can see so many people are coming up, Karthik. We have 26, 27. We'll just wait another 2-3 minutes and we'll start,
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. More the merrier.
I can see the number in picking up.
Yes, it is.
we actually hit on Facebook before 12.
Right.
Yes, so we'll just wait another 4 minutes and exactly 12 will start.
Sure. No problem.
Sure?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Sending messages. Okay, let's start, Karthik. I think
Sure.
people will join. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I am Hema Harchandani. Once back again, episode 9, Pep Up Show. Today we have a powerful couple with us. I can say Mr. and Mrs. Bajoria, Karthik Bajoria is with us. So before I start, Karthik, for today's show, I would love to, I think both of you can talk about you and introduce yourself to our people. Yes.
Right. Go ahead.
Well, Karthik and I have now been married 11 plus years. We met in Delhi, we got it over Bombay, we got married. we were married a long time coming to parenting before we had our child, because I think we always believe that you should want a child, not because society asks you to have one.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, we've been media professionals. Currently Karthik's teaching, and I have retired into bringing up my child, although that's the hardest job I've ever done, but that's what we do now.
So I believe now today's days, becoming a parent little easy. Parenting is more difficult task. Okay, over to you, Karthik. You have to talk about you.
So, well, there's nothing much to say. Both
Yeah.
Anuja and I were working for about a decade in Bombay in various capacities in the media, advertising, film, television industries. And, I think by today's definition, perhaps she and I are both a little bit unambitious. So we got completely puckered and fed up of the media life, which only seems glamorous from the outside.
Agreed.
But very, very indisciplined and chaotic from the inside. And we would have eventually moved back to Jaipur anyway, because this is where I belong. I'd left the city in 1991, so it had been many, many years, and I'd been out of Jaipur. And the first opportunity we saw to come back, we came back. So about 5 years ago, we got back to Jaipur, and ever since then, of course, our involvement in the media industry has gone down significantly. But what Anuja and I do and continue to is we are actually ghostwriters. So we are contracted by clients to write their books, coffee table books, etc., etc. I do a lot of teaching, which is usually in communication skills, whether it's writing or speaking across schools, colleges, institutes. And we decided that we desperately wanted a child. We had one 3 years ago. By Indian standards, we are old new parents because both are almost 40. But I think we are much wiser for being a little older, and we find that situations that we see our contemporary parents panicking in vis-a-vis their children, we're a lot more perhaps better equipped to deal with those situations that keep coming up every now and
So
then.
I think Anuja has rightly said, before, whenever you want child and you ready as a parent, then you actually, getting into things instead of the family pressure or a society.
It's a huge responsibility to have a child, because there's a lot that goes into bringing up a child, and it shouldn't just be because you've been married so long.
It's a huge responsibility if you do it the right way.
Yeah, you must
Otherwise,
do
of
it
course,
the right way.
you can have a child and hand it over to the nanny, and that's it, and be done with it.
True, agreed, 100%. I think I'm also one of you like parent, because I've been married very young age, 15 years marriage. And after 8 years, we both couple has decided, okay, now we want a child, not just because the family wanted. So that's the right way for doing it. Okay, so as we have it today, knowing yourself as a parent, our topic is all about. So what you wanted to give a brief on that? What do you think as a parent, as both of you are a young child, I say kindergarten children, you have your own house. So what you are saying about this?
You want to go first? See, basically, I feel that you should be realistic. What do I mean by that? I mean that you should first and foremost know yourself as a person. For example, when I desperately wanted a daughter, thank God I had one. I also, however, knew that it'll be very difficult for me as an individual to be strict with my daughter. So these are conversations that Anuja and I had way before we conceived even, that if it's a daughter, then, what are our roles going to be? And we talked about these things, we discussed them, and we came to some sort of conclusions, based on knowing each other's personalities and our own strengths and weaknesses. So, knowing yourself as a parent really entails a little bit of truthful introspection and figuring out your strengths and weaknesses. And what you will bring to the table, because it's really like since we come from the media, I'm sorry, I'm going to use that example. It's like a joint production, it's a joint production. It's a lifelong joint production. So both parents have to do their bits as producers to put out the best product possible. And therefore, as any team in any job, in any sector, you have your strengths and weaknesses, which you discuss, and your core competencies as parental figures, and then you go about it.
Yeah, I feel that, parent as a word, it's not just a noun that you give birth to a child. It's an adjective. You have to be
it's an
there.
adjective, it's a verb.
It's a verb, it's everything. It's really hands-on. And
yes, agree.
You just have to be present. Let the child lead the way, most importantly, because I find a lot of parents try and do everything for the child, and that's the complete opposite of what parenting is. Parenting is about teaching that little person to become its own individual, which is something a lot of people don't do. They'll say, no, baby, come, I'll put on your clothes, I'll feed you, I'll do this, I'll do that. But that for me is
completely wrong. I believe that's completely wrong.
I think it really helps both of us, because Anuja's parents were both professors.
Yeah.
I'm a teacher. So I think somewhere both of us understand one of the golden rules, in our humble opinion, about parenting is not to instruct, but to nudge, to expose, to suggest. It's the same principle that is used in good teaching, at least.
Yes, of course.
Even so far as, like if there is a task at hand, that's what I mean, don't rush to finish it, but instruct them how to do it, even if it's something you think is dangerous. If she says, I want to jump from here, I don't
be there. You be there. You insist that no, you be there. Say, okay, this is, you might fall, but you fall in a right way. Right there.
No, even that, I think you might jump. What do you think? You put the onus on them. That's something my mother very cleverly did. I suppose that's one more tip I have. Listen to your parents. A lot of time they are right. You might have fought it back then, but right now use their wisdom and sieve it and use it.
Yeah. So I have a sum of your question, because I asked both of you are coming to my show, and a lot of people have sent us the questions which I have with you. One of the questions somebody asked as a parent said, why do we need a good parenting nowadays when our mother has never attended any parenting workshop or something? Why we need as a parent nowadays?
There's no polite answer to that. The truthful answer to that is that a lot of us, and this is going to sound funny, but it's actually very serious.
Yeah.
A lot of us in our generation are fairly troubled and disturbed people, not because obviously our parents love us unconditionally, but they unknowingly did or didn't do certain obvious parenting do's and don'ts.
That's something I experience right now living with Karthik's mother. There are certain things which, when she says those things, and I don't know how to react because you don't want to be rude and tell her something.
Agree.
But, literally things like even fairy tales. Like yesterday, my mother-in-law told my child that, oh, don't worry, your Prince Charming will come for you. Why? I mean, it's a wonderful, sweet thing a grandmother had said, but it's not so innocent. It's just these little things.
Yes.
So there is this. So the reason. So we now have the opportunity with people becoming more open to receiving information and education, and with a much more connected world. This is a golden opportunity for parents and young parents and new parents to expose themselves to the do's and don'ts from the experts, and not make the same mistakes that our forefathers did. And there's no shame in admitting,
the world is a changed place.
It's not about disrespecting your parents, but the truth of the matter is that the world has changed, and generations that came before us weren't necessarily, equipped with the do's and don'ts, which we are in a position to now. So why not?
Yes. So at least nowadays we have an opportunity as a parents, to explore, have so many, parenting talk show discussion. So many valuable people are available. Earlier it was not there. We have a very compact societies. People were not, openly talk about their parenting styles. So yes, this is the right way for doing it. Okay, one more. I'm just throwing so many questions to you. Now, one more question I have. What is the correct way for inculcate the discipline in my child? So inculcate, how to inculcate, right? Discipline. And when we say yes, we our children are specifically when you know the children age is very small, specifically for the kindergarten when you have 2 to 6
Got it.
years, how to
I just
ensure my children listen as a parent.
Right. I have a very quick example. I mean, a tip here, which is going to sound stupidly simple. But before Anuja weighs in on this, let me just say that the best way of teaching your child anything is to lead by example. It's as crude and simple as that. If my toddler child sees that I'm doing certain housework around the apartment, picking up after myself, not calling the staff unnecessarily, if she observes that I'm speaking nicely to my wife, to my mother, it will all automatically seep in. So whatever behavior is being categorized as indisciplined, first we need to ask ourselves ki wo kahan se seekha ya seekhi, because chances are that it was picked up during observation at home only. So lead by example, yes.
Lead by example, yes. And, again, it's that gentle nudging thing. That's how I teach my child various things, because she often, she's just turned 3. And before this, I didn't bother. But now that she's older, she understands. I don't let her, she'll say, Fulchan Bhaiya will pick up the puzzles. I say, no, we must do it. He's here to help us. So you also pick up some, I'll pick up some. So again, just do it with them. Gently teach them over a few days, weeks, months.
Also,
so just keep doing it.
Along with that, to sort of inculcate a genuine sense of gratefulness and thankfulness, and the fact that they are privileged to have that resource. By nobody's saying बैठ के प्रवचन दो या भाषण दो या lecture दो, because that is always counterproductive.
Yes.
But for example, which happens very less in Indian households especially, if my child sees me after each little thing that my staff does saying thank you to them, that will automatically seep into them as well.
Yeah, she automatically says thank you. We've not really taught her to say that.
Yeah.
Also, so I think as a parent, we are a role model, and and as a mirror. So whatever you do, your children do the same thing. So start doing the right thing. First time right at the home. I always say you have to FT. First time right, it has to be there.
It's exactly the same thing that applies to screen time. We get these questions so many times that my child is on the screen, and it is simply because they are seeing the father, the mother constantly on screen. Then आप किस मुंह से, and वो ज़माने अब गए, we are not hypocritical anymore. You have to lead by example, and you can't it's like the kettle pot calling the kettle black, that if I'm on my phone half the day, किस मुंह से मैं अपने बच्चे को बोलूं कि अरे get off the phone?
Not possible. So sometime parents say screen time कम होना चाहिए. So I think as a parent मुझे कम होना चाहिए screen time. Then only my child will start following me. So I'll just take up some of the live questions are there. One of the Shruti Jain, she said, what extent we should fulfill their demands, specifically, especially when we know they are doing that out of the peer pressure. So because of peer pressure, they have so much of demand is there. So how to handle this?
Okay, again, what I'm experiencing right now with my 3-year-old, I think hopefully will hold us in good stead. Because she says, I want the Rapunzel doll, and I want the Snow White doll, and I want the Barbie doll. So I tell her that, that you already have this doll. You can get one more and no more. Because everybody doesn't have everything. It's literally, you just teach them right from day one, and that will hold you in good stead. We had this couple friend in Bombay, and I remember we bought their son a gift, which he already had. Or we told them, come, we'll take you and buy you anything. But that friend of ours told us that he knows, you please tell him only something under 1,000 rupees is all he can get. Don't go and buy him whatever. So if you give those limits, they will stay within those limits. teach them that they are lucky, teach them that
Yes.
they're privileged, they have a lot, they don't have to have everything, because everyone doesn't have everything.
Also, the understanding that I mean, of course, there's a certain subtle way of doing it, because I'm not suggesting कि आप toddlers को ये भाषण देने लगे कि भाई देखो, we are middle class, so we can't afford more. But kahin na kahin, that value system, because of these small boundaries and limits and examples that you set, will become well established. I'll give you a very quick example. My brother and I went to what many consider a very elitist school of this country, although that's not true. But the fact of the matter is that a lot of very wealthy families send their kids to Doon school. Now, when I went to Doon, I was the only person from Jaipur there, and I got a culture shock, because there was so much showing off and wealth there that I could have gone berserk in terms of this whole competition, keeping up with the Joneses, etc., etc. But somewhere there had been instilled in me some kind of value system and reality check, where, you know, because I find that kids in my situation could have gotten into depression, seeing कि अरे वो Dunlop के squash racket के साथ खेल रहा है, मेरे पास तो master का wooden racket है, and my parents can't get me more, and then tie it up with all kinds of things like my parents don't love me, etc., etc. All of that is easily avoidable by precisely these small little examples and limits that you set, like Anuja was saying, from the very beginning.
Agree. So I think the reality check has to be, it's also part of the life skills. So I say always, these are the life skills which we need to add from, even when you start from the toddler. So don't.
One last input.
Yes.
Happiness can't be defined through
By
things,
material.
by
Yes.
material. That's another thing which and that is only possible if parents invest the time and effort in spending with their children, spending time themselves with their children. Will the children realize that my happiness I'm not deriving from the iPad that is being used, but by engaging with my father or with my mother or with my grandmother or with my grandfather.
True.
You know.
But nowadays, I think, Karthik, very difficult for this. So whenever I always.
Well, you know, the good thing about this pandemic is that a lot of us.
This is the only good time we have. We all are together. We have a family time. We are trying to build this relationship. But I think, so हम ही सिखाते हैं bribe देना, और फिर हम expect करते हैं कि वो बड़े होके adult होके bribe ना दें. So मुझे ये लगता है कि I think when my children is do good, instead of giving them the materialistic, some value, something, give them the love, happiness, and say, yes, what you are doing, wow, that's most important. Instead of okay, अच्छा आपने ये किया, अच्छा ये मिलेगा. So everything we should not be, replaced with the value. So rightly you said, thank you. I have one question. How to fill the communication gap between children and, as a parent, because this is a regular thing is happening now. Both our husband and I were working, they don't have time, limited time. I can tell you one of the example, even my own school. One parent, reached to me and say, "Ki, Madam, mere paas, I am working as a banker and I don't have a time because I start my day early morning, 8 o'clock, and reaching 8. And even after reaching 8, I don't have a time." So I think you have to give in this, view, how to communicate with the child, whether it is a toddler, even in a teenage also, because teenage also have this kind of pressures. They don't want it to discuss, they don't want to talk about. So you have to give us some view on this.
My simple view on this is, and I my solutions are very, very basic. Generally, what tends to happen with, I don't know whether it's something that happens only with Indian parents or parents abroad also, is that even when we sit with our children to have a conversation with them, it becomes almost like an interrogation, or at least it's like an interview, where the parental figure is the person doing the questioning and the child is supposed to give answers. The moment that dynamic is practiced, even if that busy father or mother is being able to take out that 20 minutes at night at the end of the day, that is not going to work, because it's a very hostile and confrontational dynamic that gets formed. That here's this authority figure who's shooting questions at you and you are supposed to answer. A very simple way of countering that is to sit and share yourself. first
Absolutely.
about your own day and your own life and your own feelings and your own opinions and thoughts, which will provide a comfortable level platform to that child to then feel comfortable to expose himself or herself to you.
True, true. Okay, now I have one more question. How to handle my own mistake as a parent?
Admit it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Admit
Easy.
your mistake to your child. Admit to
Easy.
your child that you don't,
Yourself.
to yourself. Admit to your child that every question he or she asks you, you are not Google and you don't have the answer to it.
Agree. You said, I don't know. Let me search and then come back.
It's a very hard thing. In fact, that's something Karthik taught me. It's okay to say, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I tell her this now. When she asks me something, I say, I don't know. Let's find out. Make it
Yes.
a fun thing. It's okay. When you grow up, you realize that your parents are human. So now that you've realized that your parents are human, realize that you're human. All humans will make mistakes. It's okay.
Agree.
Just stay happy, and that's all you need.
So I think make a fun on that, because sometimes I don't know the answer, sit with your little one, spend quality time, and then start focusing and working how to find this answer. I think, make something special specifically when I don't know, you don't know, let's
Find out.
a search.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, good. So we have so many questions are coming up. I can.
You're on mute. You put yourself on mute.
Yes,
Yeah.
perfectly fine. One more question for you is, I'm trying to make my child successful just so that I feel successful.
What?
Wow. Okay. So that's a huge admission. That's a very dark thing to admit, a rather personal thing to admit. But this happens. It's a very serious thing. It's a prevalent thing which happens with a lot of parents who feel that they did not perhaps accomplish enough in their own lives, and they then vicariously want to make all those achievements through their children, which simply put is the wrongest thing you can do, because you are ensuring that zero individuality or exploration or discovery will happen with your child, because आप शुरू से ही फिर उस पे अपने dreams, aspirations unconsciously or consciously thopoge, which is
Right.
a ridiculous thing to do.
Exactly. But I think, we have to, majority of in India, I've seen most of the profession you find is engineer, doctor, and those back on, so that's what this show is all about. We trying to give different exposure to the parents to, ensure ki sirf engineer, because I have a lot of engineer friends who are in sales, who are in, dancing, who are doing different. So I think why you have done it.
And the best stand-up comedians are
Are all
ex-engineers.
Engineers, yes. So you can say line लगा के engineer, line लगा के doctor भी है, but actually वो अपने लिए doctor नहीं बने हैं, या अपने लिए engineer नहीं बनना चाहते, या बनना ही नहीं चाहते थे. I think they, because of parent pressure, they become an engineer or they become a doctor. So I think let's give them the freedom which is really required, specifically India, needed. Start talking your children, do the experiment learning, whatever they wanted to do the experiments, let them do it.
I mean, I would just like to say very quickly here to all those parents who have been for generations, and I understand where they're coming from. I'm not at all making fun of them, but for those parents who've been stuck in this rut of, these are your three safe options, engineering kar lo, ya MBA kar lo, ya whatever kar lo. The good thing now is that now, as opposed to even 10 years earlier, a lot of the so-called alternative careers or subjects are becoming viable career options.
Yes.
When I came back from film school and I went to Bombay to become a filmmaker, that time also the film industry had not been corporatized.
Yeah.
So, I had to beg and work as an assistant director, and the producer's attitude was, be thankful that you have got an opportunity to be on set, no pay, nothing. Now, how is a young, passionate, wannabe filmmaker supposed to live in a expensive city like Bombay with no pay? So those things are changing now. with corporatization coming into the film sector. That's just one example, but many other so-called alternative careers like music, sports, they have become a lot more professional. There are more avenues where, for example, you're a great soccer player, but you couldn't become Maradona. Not everyone can. You can still channelize your passion for sports by doing so many other things in that arena as a career.
Yeah.
Whether it's sports management or athlete management or whatever, So I just want to tell parents that now is the time that we can genuinely get out of that rut, because there are other viable alternatives.
Yes. So because now exposure is too much when we talk about not only the main career as we have to see. Yes, definitely. So at what age it is okay when you think your children, you leave your kids home alone as per you? So this is one of the question has come up. Anuja is very surprised. Oh, really?
We've not really thought about it, actually. Not really thought about it. I suppose this is the instinctive answer I'm giving. I think it will really, instead of assigning a particular age to it, it will be subjective. It will be case to case. If I feel that like in my small little apartment where there is company of 2 cats and a dog, if I feel that my 6-year-old daughter can be happy and for an hour or two, I might do that. Whereas if there's a child, this actually equates very well to when people ask me, should we send our children to boarding school? That decision, similarly to should we leave our child at home, should not be made on the basis of what you feel, but entirely on your child's disposition and personality.
True.
You have to objectively be able to assess your child. If you feel he or she is strong enough, independent enough, then whatever that age is fine.
Yeah. So I think, and the child should, take care herself own. That's what
obviously with very young children, you'll have to ensure, things like literally, doesn't put the finger into the plug point or whatever, but no one will be considering leaving a child anywhere at that stage alone.
Yes. The one more question has come up, which said, we both parents are working very hard for family, unable to give the same. I think we discussed this. Again, this has come up. Unable to give the enough time to our children, and how should we deal with this? And then
I have a suggestion here. Now, a lot of times for these kind of couples or these kind of situations, my only suggestion is don't try to do it too often. It's much better to give thoda kam but quality time to that child. So for example, if 2 parents are in very, very busy jobs, one parent can take 1 day of the weekend and the other parent can take 1 day of the weekend, and dedicate that to that child in terms of being present there fully and mentally and in a quality way. Then don't look at your phone, don't take calls, don't be on the computer. Instead of saying कि हाँ मैं physically office से घर वापस आ गया, अब तो मैं 4 घंटे रोज अपने kid के साथ हूँ, but not really there. That's a better way of doing it. Quality versus quantity.
I grew up with working parents. They were teaching in colleges. They were busy, but I don't ever remember missing them, because when they were there, they were there. And in the morning, the parents should get the child ready for school. They have that 1 hour. The child will feel loved. You come back, by the time the child has napped and done his homework, blah blah blah, you are back home. You spend the evening together, make the meal together, sit down at the dinner table, have that conversation, and bedtime story.
There are many elements to it, Hema. Like for example, again in the so-called tier 2 cities like Jaipur, the city that we're in, or smaller cities where it is possible, most people ka workplaces are what, 10-15 minute drive away.
Exactly.
इनके बीच में वापस आ जाओ घर यार, it won't kill you. Think of the people living in Bombay and Delhi who are driving one way, 1.5 hours. You're in such a privileged position.
Right.
Take advantage of that. So there are many ways of creating time.
So I think it's all about you as a parent, how much you really wanted to spend good time with your child and quality. As we said, we don't want quantity, only quality.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
if all else fails, don't live in a nuclear family. Go.
This is very hard, Karthik. It's nowadays, actually, everybody has their own space. Even grandmother also want her own house, or even my mother wants to stay alone. I said, don't disturb me. I have my own circle. So everybody has their own goal. Okay, one more live question. Pragati has asked, what is my goal for myself as a parent? Wow, interesting. I like that.
I think a parent's goal should be to let the child be and become his or her own person, whatever that might be, whether it's education related, career related, sexuality related, anything related. Give your child the courage, support, and conviction that you will love that child unconditionally, no matter what he or she turns out to be.
Yeah.
And that's when you'll have a successful child, if
Yeah.
that's what you want. That's when you are a successful parent, and that's when your child will be successful.
It's really as simple as the child. If the child is happy through childhood and grows up to be a happy adult and a actualized adult,
Yeah. They'll
That's-
have happy relationships,
Yeah.
they'll have a happy career, they'll have a successful life. It literally just boils down to love and support.
So I think as a parent, we finish our role there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'll just take some live question. Let me see. Okay. People are very happy to both who you are talking about. There's a wonderful session, parenting, very nice. So I can see so many. Yes, one more. When we say every child is unique, the same time, how could one expect some set of rules applicable for all the children? So don't you think parenting cannot be confined within some set parameters? Okay. Yes. So many questions are coming. So I think let's break it into two.
Parenting is
When we say every child is unique,
Right.
the same time, how could one expect some set of rules and applicable for all the children? Yeah. First, let's answer this, and then we'll go.
No, I was just saying, of course, every child is unique, but a basic human behavior is very set. Like some things are right, some things are not.
correct.
Yes.
So,
I mean, if that were the case,
Yeah.
then that would question the so many organized activities that we subject our children to. That
Yeah.
would even question कि अरे class 6 में same teacher, same course, सारे class 6 के बच्चों को क्यों पढ़ा रही है
Yeah.
अगर वो सब unique
yeah.
individuals हैं.
Unique individual means doesn't mean ki, oh, he's screaming and shouting, that means he's uniquely loud. That's
Yes.
not what we mean when we say unique. We
Yes.
mean that, everybody learns at a different pace. Everyone is
So
interested.
learning ability of the every child is different.
Yeah. So, but
The
yeah,
sometimes, yeah.
Foundations,
Yeah.
academic, moral, societal need to be common,
yeah,
but they will manifest in each child differently
Different ways.
because that child is a unique
Unique.
individual.
Yeah.
So if
Right,
I
right.
learn a lesson of geography, I, being unique myself, may want to visit that place. Another person who learns the same lesson of geography might want to study it further. Another person who listens to the same lesson of geography
wants to learn about its
wants
history.
to learn about its history, and the fourth one doesn't want to have anything to do with
Yeah,
it.
which
That's
is all
fine.
fine. But the similarity remains that you all have to go to school and study. That's
So
yes.
similarly with parenting, there are certain foundational values, etc., that we need to expose our children to, which remain common.
Yeah.
Then what
Yeah.
that individual interprets and does with that is the
So I believe into that when we talk even the school. I said unique means yes, showing the expressions in a different way, but the value systems has to be same. That has to be standardized as per the family. We should go for it. Yeah, and that's what when we talk about the life, because I'm more talk about the life skill person. So I always say that life skills start from your house. So value you wanted to start. You as a person start from the home as a parent, and slowly it will go on the school parenting. Yes, one more thing is parenting is the easiest thing in the world to have an opinion about. What is the hardest thing in this world to do so?
The parenting is the easiest thing to have an
I
opinion
think
on, but to do it
tough things
successfully,
are coming up.
to do it successfully is the hardest thing, because here the three of us are and chatting, and a lot of times, and I understand this as a moderator, these discussions come across as just, oh, it's so easy to sit and give gyan, but it's very hard to implement it.
It's not
It's
easy.
very hard. Right now I'm giving a lecture on how there should be boundaries and limits, and I'll get out of this meeting outside the room. I'll look at my 3-year-old daughter. She'll pout her lips and say, "Papa, ice cream," and I'll say, "Mangao turant." So it is very hard to do, but we have to do it.
Yes, agreed. Okay, one more question is, something as I as a person need my own space and feel, oh, why did I, when we had talked, take, give it to me. Okay, now because now my team is also coming up their own questions. They said really, they all are enjoying. Okay, sometimes I as a parent need my own space, and I feel when I did take this decision to be as a mother, it is okay.
Of course.
Yeah, of course it's okay that you need your own space, and I assure you, sooner rather than later, your child will get to a stage where he or she will need their own space, so you will get enough space.
No, but that's true. Again, as a new enough mother, and as a, you need that space, and you must take that space, because only then will you calm and be yourself and be able to give the best to your child.
It's like doing anything in life. You can't be doing your job all the time. You can't be just relaxing all the time. It's exactly like that. As a parent, of course you need because you need to live your own age and stage and be yourself also. That time can be taken at any point. Like for example, for Anuja and I, once our daughter sleeps at 8 p.m., we do whatever. We do crosswords, we watch a Netflix show, we have our adult time, which is very, very important in order to stay sane and be an effective parent.
And even through the day, we've divided these 1 hour break times where I am locked in my bedroom. He and his mother are taking care of the child. Then he gets his time off. I'm taking care of the child, and so you have to do that. Of course.
I think you are the right example as a couple, and I think it's the right way, and I'm sure my parents are happy. So dear parents, please listen both of them, and then it's a joint effort. Never be, because आधा time तो यही fight होता है, बच्चे को mother हो तो आप संभालो, father हो तो आपका काम है, because we as don't decide as a parent कि it's a joint effort to just not a mother's job or not a father's job. It has to be together journey, right? Yes. So I will take some more question from the live session, and then we'll see. Wait. I have so many questions and people are very happy about Karthik. You can see a lot of people are giving so much of good comment. So what is your okay? One thing so I always believe father is always a risk taker. Are you believe this or no? So I always see the father give the value to child, to the always take a risk normally, because in India women are at home. So I Anuja is very in that. No.
Not in
our case at all. In fact, if anything, it's and I'm saying this to her face, and she's been the risk taker. But but one of the parents to be that way, and for that to be exhibited to the child is very important. It doesn't matter which one it is. Usme koi aisa nahi hai, mardangi nahi hai ki the man has to do it. That's a very silly.
No, so my question was for the risk taking is normally in Indian culture, like lady is a homemaker and father is go out, earn for the bread and butter. So as a father role, so so normally so what you think as a father has to give this thing? Yes, you have to sometimes go.
I've understood, Hema. That's what I was saying, that according to me, a child should be exposed to certain qualities, but whom that quality ka exposure comes from, which parent shouldn't be assigned to a set.
From one side,
shouldn't be कि ये आदमी का काम है, ये quality आदमी से आएगी और ये quality औरत से आएगी. That is the silly part of it. As long as the child is being exposed to all correct values and qualities from either parent, it's fine.
It's fine. It's
So
perfect.
it's not, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So what you suggest to the Indian father? Strong message from your side.
Love your children.
नॉर्मली मेरे पास जब पीटीएम होता है तो पेरेंट आते हैं, मदर बोलती मैं ही करती हूँ मैम सारी चीजें, और तो होता नहीं है, तो फादर को भी कंट्रीब्यूट करने के लिए बोलिए. तो व्हाट यू से, यू आई थिंक right person.
On a perfectly sincere note, because that is the way our society has been built for many generations. The roles are defined, fortunately or unfortunately. I think unfortunately, as you were rightly saying, that the husband or the father is the breadwinner or the hunter gatherer, and the woman is the homemaker and the person who's rearing the kids, so to speak.
Yes.
But I think that there's a desperate need for fathers to understand that their role in parenting is much beyond signing the school fee check.
Yes.
Which is basically what most fathers do.
Yes, majority of.
And it is justified also in their own heads कि हाँ ये तो हमारा काम है, हम उन्हीं के लिए तो कमा रहे.
Yes.
But it is much more than that. I can tell you from my own experience and my generation of kids that there is a huge paucity of a father's influence in many of our lives, because they were simply not around in an emotional sense. There needs to be a huge emotional anchor that a father is to his children, and that emotional anchor can't be done just by अच्छा अब Sunday है चलो Hamleys खरीद लो आधा.
True. Agreed. So I think yes, it's not only to pay the check or get the gifts for their children. I think you have to.
It's not about pampering. It's
not about the pampering or a materialistic. Let's have it together and ensure for everything which the children is doing at home. And I think you have to be, when I said you are a better half, then this is a so better, you have to show that better half.
No, also acknowledge what the mother.
Not to just for.
That's our default role right now. Ours, I mean,
Yeah.
that I am, of course, at home doing majority of the work for the child. But I always see Karthik reinforce that in the child, that you're so lucky that your mother's doing this, that, and the other for you. So when she sees that, she will also, of course, have a bond with him and me, and just everyone should be aware
and
of
the
what
right
they're doing and do the
understanding
right
and values,
understanding and value.
and not take things for granted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I suppose my point was a lot of mothers feel that they are stuck at home and they are doing this and they're bringing up the kids
कि
and
वो
the
फंस गई हैं.
फंस गई हैं. But you're playing a very important role, and that will only happen when the fathers acknowledge it. So fine, of course, just write the check and buy the children gifts, no problem. But acknowledge and thank your wives.
Thank your wife. Yes, that's so you have to respect
In
each
front
other.
of the child.
And in front of the
In
child.
front of the child.
In front of the child. Yes. So at least he or she also know what is the value system.
Absolutely. Why do we take, mothers are taken for granted because their husbands took them for granted.
Yes, agreed. So what are the words you should never we say in front of kids? Any suggestion?
Well, try and limit the use of any negative word, especially a word like no. Even if you want your child not to do something, I got this tip from Anuja, give options. That's a great way of...
Options is worked out for me beautifully.
Yeah, it's or a better reason if it is something which we know, we know there is no other option.
I would say avoid saying no, and also avoid using any extreme emotive words. I think things like hate are completely avoidable. Things like that.
Just anything
extreme emotion.
Anything is extreme. Yes, definitely. Okay, so I think we had a very lovely discussion today, and it's a very I can see so many people really wanted to meet you personally is next time in our schools. I can see very nice. Yes, I can see so many comments are coming up in live streaming. So thank you so much, Karthik and Anuja, for giving us your time and so much of valuable information about parenting. I'm sure after watching your session, some of the parents has start working together as a art of parenting, and will be again getting touch. Maybe once the everything is lockdown over, and I'm sure I would love you should personally come meet our parents. Give them the most, because see what I think, this is the right way. As we start the session, we said yes, now things are available. Earlier it was not there, so now once we have available, we have to talk, we have to discuss and take it in a positive direction.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, both of you.
Not at all, our pleasure. Thank you
International
very
and
much
giving
for
your
having us.
views. Yes.
Yeah.
You
Thank
want to say something? You're saying yes, sorry.
No, I was just saying thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, anytime. I think I had a lot of fun as a moderator
Lovely.
and with both of
Lovely
you.
chat.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.